this gentleman apparently is a leader type person. But since his mom has been in that condition, he has been an emotional wreck. This particular lady was telling me this story. He's been an emotional wreck. He can't stop crying. He can't stop, sometimes even in the fetal position, crying. And they sort of, they took it serious, but they sort of make light of it. It's like, wow, I didn't know he was such a crybaby.
Welcome to your daily health briefing. I'm Dr. Albert Takem. This show is here to help you navigate the complex U.S. medical system, one step at a time. Whether you are decoding a new diagnosis, fighting for a referral, or just trying to stay informed, you are in the right place. Let's get into the science. When people see us as the strong one, it can become very hard to admit that you are struggling. That is especially true for leaders, doctors, therapists, parents, and anyone others depend on. In this episode, Alan and I talk about the emotional burden of leadership, why vulnerability is often mistaken for weakness, and why even the people helping others may need help themselves. All right, guys, so we are back with Alan Elliott, a clinical mental health therapist, in this most important topic of Black men and mental health. So I have another question for you, Alan.
Yes.
So why do you think so many Black men, and we talked about this earlier,
Yes,
especially those in positions of responsibility, like you and me, feel like they can be vulnerable? And the reason why I bring that up is because you'll be surprised, or you might not be. I have a patient of mine who's a mental health therapist.
Yes.
Who broke down in the middle of a visit, came to see me for high blood pressure management, and wept uncontrollably because of the weight and the burden of being a therapist.
Yes.
With mental health struggles.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he has a pretty demanding job that involves kids, teenagers, and has to do a lot of therapy for victims of abuse, it's sexual abuse or sort of violence,
Yes.
which is a physically and mentally taxing job. And when he came to see me, we actually got into talking about depression because he's obese. He had gained 80 pounds in the span of like 6 months. And while I was taking the history, I found out that he had emotional eating, and then that led to us talking about his mental health, and then he's dealing with severe depression and anxiety.
Yes.
Which, he had worked at. He's been working at this agency for about 8 years, and he started recounting to me all the things he had experienced.
Yes.
So what makes us people in position of responsibility so vulnerable
Yes.
to mental health problems and reluctant to talk about?
Yes. Good question. And yeah, just touch on some of the things we talked about. We're talking about we're in leadership roles, which means we are role models. People are looking up to us and the expectations that folks have of us, whether it be our employees that work for the company, whether it be your family, whether it be family members, whether it, whatever it is, we are in leadership positions. So we're automatically thinking, I can't show weakness. It's like I'm at the top of this and I have to exude the energy that goes to everyone else for them to kind of be like you're an example. So I think that's one factor. And then again, going back to men, so if you combine the fact that now I'm in a leadership position, and then there's the stigma again. Can't show weakness, can't show vulnerability, can't show any of the things. It's almost like we think it's an expectation that we're not allowed to be vulnerable. And you know what? Let's be honest. Society, even our family members, friends, sometimes are part of the problem. Okay? We always hear, you can't cry. If a man's crying, people start, you hear other folk making fun. Oh, he was a crybaby. What's wrong with him? You know?
Now, is that something typical of Black people or
I've heard
in
it.
general?
I've heard it. And, I'll give you an example. I was just listening to some folks talk today and calling no names. And they were females. And one of the females' husband, his mother, is unfortunately in the hospital in a coma. She's an older lady. I mean, maybe in her late 70s, early 80s. This gentleman apparently is a leader type person. But since his mom has been in that condition, he has been an emotional wreck. This particular lady was telling me this story. He's been an emotional wreck. He can't stop crying. He can't stop, sometimes even in the fetal position, crying. And they sort of, they took it serious, but they sort of make light of it. It's like, wow, I didn't know he was such a crybaby. That's the statement that was made. So that just goes to, wow, he's in a tough spot, and he probably is overwhelmed. He probably was overwhelmed even before this happened with his mom. Now this happening to his mom, this is like pushing him over the top. So it's like, why is that made light of? Why aren't we allowed to show emotion? Ladies are often allowed to show emotion, cry, and do those things, and it's not looked down on as much. We cry or show vulnerability. That's seen as weakness. Well, I would contend that that's not weakness. I would contend that that's part of being a human. That's part of being a leader. Not being afraid to show vulnerability. I think shows strong leadership. Talking out and telling the folks that are looking up to you, it's okay to be vulnerable. Go ahead and seek help if you need it. There's nothing wrong with it. I think it's something that we should start looking at as strong Black men and as leaders in our community and in our offices and our families. I think that's something that we should start emphasizing and starting to break down those unrealistic expectations and those stigmas.
So let's make it a little personal. Have you, as a CEO of Elliott, you've been in a situation like that?
All the time.
Where you've had to show vulnerability?
Yes, I have shown vulnerability, and I think it's important for me to do that. I will be honest and say when I first started in my career, I didn't, because I didn't think that was acceptable. As I've gotten older and wiser, and I realized the importance of good mental health for everyone, especially us Black men, I try to lead by example in that. And I have shown vulnerability. My business partner is back here. He could tell you sometimes I've gone to tears in meetings, and sometimes I'm not controlling that. I become verklempt.
You've gone to tears in the meeting.
I have, talking about a patient that I've lost, but that's not weakness. That's not weakness at all. And I think that sends a message that, hey, he can show vulnerability and show emotion. We can do it too. And especially with some of our young Black male therapists that we have, I think it's okay to show the range of emotions when appropriate.
How was that received?
From what I could tell, received okay. I don't know what they were saying.
From the initial shock.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like the boss man is crying. What's going on here?
Right. And, I don't know. People were talking about me after. I don't care. It was a organic situation, and that's what happened. And I think it's important to be able to show those vulnerabilities. It's important. You talked about a therapist that was seeing you. I want to point out for the therapists that are watching this, the statistics show that we are twice as likely to commit suicide. Therapists.
Twice as likely?
Twice as likely.
I think doctors are like 5 times as likely than the general population to commit suicide. I might not have the exact numbers, but I think it's higher. It's a higher percentage.
And mine is not exact either, and I think it's also higher. But I know it's a lot higher than the general population because, again, we're seen as leaders in this field. And how can you be a leader and have problems? A lot of our patients even look at us that way, and I'm sure you've experienced that. They don't think we have any problems. They think we're Superman. And we're human, and we do have our own issues. We have issues at home. We have personal issues, and we're trying to, repress all that. When we come to work every day, we have to repress that because we have to focus on the patient and their issues. We can't think about our issues. Sometimes that's difficult to do. but we do it. And then you're repressing with no outlet. And then I think another snag that therapists run into is they rationalize and say, I know everything the therapist is going to tell me, so why should I go? I know exactly what the treatment goals will be, the treatment plan. I know what they're going to say. But what I would say to those therapists is, you're missing the point. The point is that you also need a release. You might know what questions to, but you need someone to guide you, because while you're in an emotional state right now that you can't guide yourself, you need someone to be your guide, the same way that you're guiding others. So I'm biased, but I think everybody should be in therapy. And this goes back to, you talked about people saying you're crazy. Everybody should have therapy in a perfect world. Obviously, we're not all crazy or not labeled to be crazy, but everyone can benefit. If you are a human being on planet Earth, you can benefit from therapy.
Being strong does not mean never struggling. And being a leader does not mean you have no pain. Sometimes real leadership is showing the people around you that it is okay to be human, okay to feel, and okay to ask for help before the weight becomes too much. This has been the Daily Brief. Medicine is not about certainty. It is about responsibility. Decisions are often made with incomplete information, but they are always made with your safety in mind. In a system that can feel rushed and fragmented, you deserve clarity, continuity, and an advocate who sees the whole picture. I am Dr. Albert Takem, your physician ally, high-level science, human-level care. I will see you at the next briefing, or I will see you in the clinic.